जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः. Ramakrishna was teaching, we saw the last class, how one can exercise one's right for enlightenment on God. He is our own. Then when will we get that oneness, that we can exercise force on Mother, on God to give me enlightenment, is when we become intimate with God, and I have given my all to God. I have a right. And how to do that is to dissolve the ego. Dissolve your ego and pride. So when these are cleared, I, mine and for me, that goes away. With that all problems will solve, and you'll be able to feel that extreme closeness with which you can go and ask God. When we see Sri Ramakrishna's life, people, children, youngsters, just college-going youngsters like Rakhal, who is Brahmananji later on, they are getting lost in the ecstasy. They are in Bhava Samadhi. They are unaware of the external world. They have fallen on the ground. Naren looks at it. Sri Ramakrishna loved Naren so dearly because he is going to be a pioneer who is going to give the message to the all people. The love for all beings is making Sri Ramakrishna cling to Naren to give the message to the world. And he loves him so much. All the love that he has for the world is expressed through his Naren. And he has not got any bhava or anything, but these others are getting. Then he goes and asks, all these people are getting, I have not got anything. With what right he went and told you, see? Then Sri Ramakrishna says, settle your problems outside, your family and all that, and then come. All that I have is yours. So that the two things, how the intimacy comes to demand and how God responds to the demand. All that I have is yours. But there you have to give yourself, settle the external things and come. Give yourself completely to your duties. Let the body and mind be working there in the world to finish off the duties of responsibilities of the family and other things. Give your heart and soul to God. So this giving this heart and soul, let the body be working, let the nature take care of all the activities, and let me, my whole being is there at the feet of God. Then only it is possible. Then Sri Ramakrishna comes to difference between tamas and rajas and sattva. How tamas and sattva look alike. But what a great difference. And how the Rajasic people behave with all glory, they want to project themselves. Whereas Sattva, calmly unseen by others, is calling on God. Others do not even know that he is doing sadhana. People think I saw in one of the nearby village, a township. There one family, the mother used to come and weep and complain. I have 4 sons, all are in the spiritual path. One son is not responding. How much we ask him to go to temple, this, that and all. But he never turns out. He is in his own world, earning, accumulating and all that. And then here he doesn't care for bhajans, singing, worship and all. He is wasting his life and time. One son has become like that. Then I observed his extreme sattva. He doesn't display anything. Just mute, he sits and mutes, he hears, pours out and goes away. Before these people get up early in the morning, 3:30 he gets up, slowly goes out of the main door, goes to the temple, sweeps the whole area around. When the temple is opened at 4:30, he sweeps inside and comes away and again sleeps off. Everybody was thinking, nobody knows. He has been doing this every day for years, but house people do not know. They say he doesn't go to temple. He's the only one who is going to temple. Others are going just to bow down and come away. But his services are reaching God and devotees. How they hide themselves and do sadhana. Similarly, in Aurangabad, I saw a person working in a bank. And he was the one person who was doing sadhana, but never with anybody. He commonly, like all other people, he will be talking about things. And once he goes home, he is alone. A flat he has taken. In the middle there is a cot and a teapot. Sofas are there. In every teapot some magazines are there. No picture of shrine, no picture, photos of gods or goddesses. All that simple living. And friends and all come, they sit and go away. And we started discussing some deep spiritual concepts. Then he came out slowly. His innate nature, how he longs for God. And then one day, the time, morning, 7 o'clock, we assembled in his house. The neighbor people were arranging for our food. And they used to bring tea, coffee, tiffin and all that. 7 o'clock after tiffin, we sat for discussion of spiritual matters. Some are entering into meditation, but not able to sink inside completely to reach. Some are reaching, but they are not able to hold. They have slipped down again and again. Such sadhakas. And the discussions and question and answers went on and on. Now and then the neighbors will bring food and give us. Afternoon, evening food was over. Sandhya Arati, we finished there itself sitting. Again it continued. Night food we had. And till next day morning, 7 o'clock, it was continued. Then we saw he has a huge cot in the middle. If you draw all the drawers below, all are spiritual books. And the photos of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother Sharda Devi and Vivekananda are kept there when the doors are closed and no more call will be there, he takes it out and sits for meditation, lighting an incense stick. Unknown, even his intimate friends or family people know about it. It is for God, and God alone should know. And his whole aim is, when God again comes as an avatar incarnation, he must be there with him. I was surprised. And once it is, this one is a normal, humble person moving about. So this extreme sattva people, how silently they do and offer to God. They are the one who are really smoothly making progress and moving towards God. There are still other classes and kinds of people. For instance, there are those who are eternally free, Nitya Siddhas. Sri Ramakrishna is telling about the sadhakas, how the sattvic people will do the sadhana unknown to the world, no external. They don't have desires. I must have a grand house, this and that thing. A shelter to live, but life is going away. I have to finish my task. I have to settle down all my family and all in proper way, just necessary for sustenance and their progress. There are still other classes and kinds of people. For instance, there are those who are eternally free, those who have attained liberation, those who are struggling for liberation, and those entangled in the world. So many varieties of men. Sages like Narada and Shukadeva are eternally free. They are like steamship, which not only crosses the ocean, but can carry big animals, even an elephant. Further, the soul that is eternally free is like the superintendent of his estate. After bringing one part of the estate under control, he goes to another. Those struggling for liberation strive heart and soul to free themselves from the net of the world. One or two of them may get out of the net. They are called liberated. The souls that are eternally free are like clever fish. They are never caught in the net. He used to commonly say the 4 types of people who are eternally free, who are struggling, and who escape and go away, some of them, and then others who think being caught they are not able to come out even after struggle, but there are a few who catch hold of the net itself and burrow themselves into the clay below. They slash, they lie down, and they think they are safe here. Buddha, the perfected siddhas, and then who are struggling, mumukshus, struggling people, and those are Buddha, they are just like eternally free. These are eternally Buddha-like. Nobody is eternally Buddha, but at that particular time and space, they don't want to. They feel comfortable with the world. Uddhava, once he had a great compassion for people, it seems. And then he was He asked Krishna, see, I see whole world suffering in some way or other. Nobody is happy and they are undergoing intense suffering. Why don't you release all of them free from Maya and take them to your dham? Krishna said, I can do that, but nobody wants to come. You ask, you bring, anybody wants to come, I will immediately send him. Uddhava thinks, who doesn't want mukti? Then he goes in one slum, some people are there, and he says, you see, there is a place called, heavenly place called Gokul, and it is a dhama beyond this universe. There is absolutely no suffering. Joy and joy alone. And whatever you think, it is there before you. And you don't lack anything. Will you come with me? I will take you all. They say, is there this slash, dirty water there? Will I have the objects of enjoyments which I have here? Will I have wife and children? There also, if it is not there, I don't want to come. This is all right for me. Everybody is telling they are comfortable with where they are, with what they are. Nobody wants to go where there is purity, divinity, calmness, joy, eternal joy, no suffering, but they don't want to go. Man is so much accustomed, and the veil of ignorance is so much thickly covered that they are comfortable with the things they have. But the souls that are entangled, involved in worldliness, never come to their senses. They lie in the net, but are not even conscious that they are entangled. If you speak of God before them, they at once leave the place. They say, why God now? We shall think of Him in the hour of death. But when they lie on their deathbeds, they say to their wives and children, why have you put so many wicks in the lamp? Use only one wick, otherwise too much of oil will be burnt. While dying, they think of the wives and children and weep, alas, what will happen to them after my death? How the attachments and how the bindings we ourselves bind. The entangled souls repeat those very actions that make them suffer so much. They are like the camel which eats thorny bushes till the blood streams from its mouth, but still will not give them up. Such a man may have lost his son and may be stricken with grief, but still he will have children year after year. He may ruin himself by his daughter's marriage, but still he will go on having daughters every year. And he says, what can I do? It is just my luck. When he goes to a holy place, he does not have any time to think of God. He almost kills himself carrying bundles for his wife. Entering the temple, he is very eager to give his child holy water to drink. or make him roll on the floor, but he has no time for his own devotions. These bound creatures slave for their masters to earn food for themselves and for families, and they earn money by lying, cheating, and flattery. They laugh at those who think of God and meditate on Him and call them lunatics. This differentiation between the spiritual and non-spiritual beings on this earth, especially with respect to the humans, we see specifically in all scriptures. Devi Sampat and Asuri Sampat are clearly bifurcated and shown. If you take Ramayana, Tulsidas, starting itself, he salutes both the holy people, sages like sagacious people, and also these people who are ethics, who has lost all moral and ethics and are running after the enjoyments and belittle the spiritual and God and things like that, religious things. So Asuri Sampat and Devi Sampat are clearly, but he boils down to both. Both are products of nature, product of God. And when we meet them, both give pain. The saintly people give pain to us when they part from us, and the unholy people, non-spiritual people, they give pain when they meet. Both are causes of pain because they are not going to be there forever with us. The holy people come, we enjoy, we are elevated, we are in ecstasy, but they go away, making us weep. Parting is most painful from them. And then when the bad people, the demonical people, when they meet, the meeting itself is frightening and cause of fear and anxiety and painful. Till they go away, we will not be at rest at all. So these two we clearly distinguish and see. Here also Sri Ramakrishna very often gives, this is an instruction, small things don't neglect. We have both the tendencies, good and bad. How to recognize where I am? Where do I make mistake? Why still in me the tendency for world is still there? Why I am not able to love God intimately? Because some kind of worldliness. What is that worldliness? I must know my defects also. I must know my positive, elevating factors also, so that I'll be able to get rid of. Here, it is not condemning or anything, but these two kind of people will be there at all times. When you objectively see, just offer to divine. They are products of nature. Where there is positivity, there is bound to be negativity. Overlook and go forth. Whenever you see within, preserve the good and destroy the evil. This is the purpose for which these things are given. Whole of Bhagavad Gita you see, in that all things, all aspects of God is given. Similarly, all aspects of Maya is also given. How the Maya creates the bondages and makes us take birth. How repeated birth takes place. All these are given. Just to make you aware of the reality. Beyond these two is the reality. Beyond good and bad is the divine. So be divine and reach divine. So you see how many different kinds of men are there. You said that all men were equal. You said that all men were equal. But how many varieties of men are there? Some have more power and some less. You see, Sri Ramakrishna is speaking at a very coming down, thousands of feet down, he is speaking ordinary way. But look at the depths of his thinking. Every bit is clear to him. How he presents the truth and reality as we go deeper and deeper. Subtlety, absolute subtlety, he manifests. Where we cannot, anybody asking any such questions is ordinary people who are intellectual, very difficult to answer. But here is one person who can answer all questions, solve the problems, and show the path and lead along the path. That is a main part of the Lord coming down as Avatara. The entangled creatures are attached to worldliness, talk only about worldly things in the hour of death. How many people we saw in our lives constantly, we have been seeing. The death is at door. The man is standing with one foot in the grave, but the thought of divine, last breath to take, thought of God doesn't come. The world, whole life he has spent in the world, with the worldly attention, same thing comes out. Sri Ramakrishna is whatever you eat, same thing you will be belching out. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.